Hello, this is Greg Allison from Green Greg's coming to you on the 11th of December 2020. And I got to ask you a question. Are we just 10 days from Doomsday or not? Some say we are. Some say, well, maybe not. So we're going to go into that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot down the arguments of the connections between the change from the Julian to the Gregorian calendar and the Mayan calendar. For some folks are saying that we are actually in 2012 according to the Mayan calendar. I'm going to shoot that down. That may seem to take the teeth out of this argument. But I got to come back with other reasons to be concerned about 21 December 2020. So the question is 21 December 2020 with the great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter a harbinger of doom or a harbinger of hope? Wow, there's the big question. But I tell you what, I've actually got some hope and I've got some good news, especially if you're concerned and prepared to prepare. And if you've been watching my channel, you should know that you need to be prepared. And in light of that, guess what? We've got a really good special right now where you can get $100 off a good 4-week supply of long-term food that'll last you for 25 years. Yeah, 100 smackaroonies. No kidding. Off of a 1-month supply. And the base price right now is still excellent. For stuff that's going to last you 25 years, you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 2,000 calories a day will make you a winner. And it's 284 servings, by the way. And you also get some let's see, desserts and drinks too to boot. Can't beat that. And these are easy to carry packages. I have one right here. You get 2 of these in the month supply. This is a week supply right here. And it's easy to carry. It's lightweight. You can throw it in your bus, your truck, your van. You can be the bug out man, or you can open it up and take the pouches individually and put in your backpacks and trek across the woods if you need to bug out that way, the backpack bug out. And I'll be covering videos on that topic in the not too distant future, I hope. But my friends, there's far more than that. If you go to prepwithgreg.com, which is my site for this, go to prepwithgreg.com. And when you click on the My Patriot Supply logo from prepwithgreg.com, you can get all kinds of other survival items. Check them out. I'm not going to go all into it. Some people say, you don't have gluten-free food. Yeah, we do. And also, I love the number 10 cans. So there's just plenty. And there's also fruit for those fruit, and for those of us that prefer to go low carb, bing, 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 all kind of options. All right, let's get out of that and get on to what's coming on. All right, what's happening? Well, as you know, we have this grand conjunction coming. It is so grand, so celestial, so cosmic, I decided to wear my tinfoil cap. And it is an official tinfoil cap too, by the way. Given to me by Rex Bear. And you can check it out. You can get your own. They're not cheap, but they're awesome. And hey, don't I look good in it? It's fun. I like to have my, and I'm wearing the glasses too, just because, hey, we're talking about doomsday, fire, and smoke. And I wore my hat, a shirt for the sun and my shirt for the fire. All right. No, this could be serious. This really could be serious. So, or not. Oh yeah, by the way, Sirius is really bright in the sky this time of the year, following the constellation of Orion. Of course, it's in Canis Major constellation, the bright star therein. The doggone star, for those that are familiar with those African legends on it. I'm sure Rex Bear has talked about that quite a bit. So what you need to know is this. This conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn is believed to be the same conjunction, or a conjunction like that between Jupiter and Saturn, that formed the star of Bethlehem somewhat around 2020 years ago, the era of the birth of Christ. It was that sign that excited the Magi to go looking for Jesus. That was the sign, the harbinger of a new era in the Christian faith. Now, the funny thing is, this coming conjunction is actually tighter than that one. The last conjunction was in 1623, which was just, 3 years shy of 400 years ago. 1623. but it wasn't quite as tight as this one. And this one is tighter than the one, which was the heraldic sign. Interesting. Not only that, it is coming at the same day as our winter solstice. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So there's interesting signs here. I mean, originally it was the sign of the coming of the Son of Man, Son of God, is often referred to in the New Testament. And as you may know, Matthew 24 says that we would see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds before he returns. Is this the sign? It was the sign that led the Magi to him. Is it the sign of the Son of Man? Hey, I don't know. No man knows the day or the hour or what that means. Maybe it's a sign of an era coming. Maybe not. But many are tying this to the Mayan prophecy. What they're saying quite often is, oh, well, the Julian calendar had 11 less days in it, and therefore there's 11 days difference. And so now we're on Gregorian calendar, and we're actually in the year 2012. That is not true, because the difference between the Julian and the Gregorian calendar only matters to a few days over the course of since it was implemented, or even across the whole span, if you took it that way, because they were trying to correct for the actual rotation of the Earth vis-a-vis the year as the sun goes around. The Earth goes around the sun, excuse me. All right, you flat earthers, bear with me a minute. So it's instead of 365 and a quarter days, they had to lessen it by another quarter. So let's pull all this up. We'll go to Wikipedia and have a look at some of that. Let's see here. Hang on, guys. So here's the Gregorian calendar, and what you'll find here is that they made the difference. I'll take off these glasses so I can see better. It's actually, it went from 365.25 days to 365.2425 days. So that's 0.0075 days difference, which don't add up a whole lot over a couple thousand years, my friend. That's not 8 years difference. And I can show you the actual days. So how they implement this is every 100 years it's divisible by 400 is a leap year. Let's see, I think I got that right. It's either leap year or not a leap year. So that it's the divisibility of 400 that makes a difference on the 100-year cycle for leap years. I think that's the one. It is a leap year. Yeah, that is the one. If it's not divisible by 400, it's not a leap year. Somewhere I can find it in here. It's listed in this article somewhere on Wikipedia. I'm not going to sit here and read it, but what they were trying to do was correct for the fact that Easter and some of these other holidays were sliding in the calendar according to the solar year, because the calendar really wasn't mentioning what was happening with the sun and the seasons. So they corrected for that. Now here's the difference. Here's the actual difference right now in Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar. Today is 11 December 2020 in Gregorian calendar, and the Julian calendar, it would have been 28 November 2020. Thanksgiving. As you can see, it's only a few days difference. Now think about it. If you're looking at your only days, it's not a leap day, is divisible by 4, or the only ones that's leap year on the 100-year cycle is the ones divisible by 400, then you would be what you got? We've had 20 centuries. You knock off 4 of them because we've had that many years that are divisible by 400. You'd be like 16 days difference. Somehow it comes out to be 14. It's probably due to when the calendars were implemented as to how they come up with all that. So there, the difference is not 8 years. It's nowhere close to 8 years. So bang, 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 bang. We have shot that down. That is not at all what you got to worry about going around. But it's quite interesting. Even a Fulbright scholar made the mistake of getting us into this whole notion of what was the Julian versus Gregorian calendar. Scientist and Fulbright scholar Paola Tagloquin, pardon me if I get the name off, he said that there was 8 years difference. Fulbright scholar, scientist, boom, he missed it. Leave it to a worm farmer to correct him. A worm farmer is also a rocket scientist of sorts. Engineer, that is. So, bang, he missed it. It's not 11 days per year difference. No, not close to it. It was a minor little correction in the calendars to make up and get the days exactly correct. And it just so happens that Sir Francis Bacon and a lot of earlier writers, Bill and others, had postulated that the calendar and the Julian calendar wasn't properly tracking the dates right. And so by the time Pope Gregory came around, he fixed it. Leave it to Gregory to fix things on time. So the question from this, Gregory, is, are we running out of time? So we're going to investigate that. That doesn't get us out of the woods, my friends, because we still have some interesting things connected to this particular conjunction, be it a conjunction or not. It just so happens, if you recall, my friend, that I've had on this channel a few times, Stacy Zivicki, with the channel Sustainable Stewards, has had a vision from the Lord that the date that we need to be interested in, the date that we need to be prepared by, not saying it's the date things are going to happen, the date we need to be prepared by, and her vision was 21 December 2020. Prepare for what, Greg? An EMP event over the United States. She's, in her vision, saw 2 missiles being fired from off the Venezuelan coast coming up over the United States, one on the East Coast and one over the Midwest, over Omaha, Nebraska, somewhere up there in that area. And, well, Nebraska, Kansas, somewhere in that area. And one off the East Coast. It wasn't high enough off, above Nebraska, Omaha area, Nebraska or Kansas. Probably worse if it's up at Nebraska, where the fill lines of the earth run. If you can get it there, you can actually, if it's high enough, could take out the entire power grid, the United States, a good part of Canada, and all the way down to Mexico City. But maybe they want to make double sure they get the East Coast. And maybe it's not quite high enough, because maybe to get the range from there with the missile they're going to use, they don't have the altitude, so they go for 2. I don't know. But what I do know is that what she saw was militarily, tactically, a brilliant strategy for somebody that would want to do a sneak attack in the United States, since Venezuela is an unstable country, and her vision was it didn't even happen out of the country, it happened offshore. And we know the North Koreans were running around in the area with their Chongyang tramp steamer several years ago, with 2 completely erect missiles and missile launchers. But when it went back through the Panama Canal, they were hidden under bags of sugar. Did they do a dry run with them on the deck while they were running around out there? Could North Korea pull this off? Yes. Could Iran pull this off? Well, if the intel I have was correct, saying that they in fact did get 2 missiles from Kazakhstan when it fell, when the Soviet Union fell, just before the Kazakhstan said, "Oh, we don't want these things. Take them back, Mother Russia." That's kind of strange, right? And she saw 2. I heard 2. Supposing they're trying to make more, 5 or 6. Some people say they've actually made them, but most don't say that. But what if you're a country that wants plausible deniability? You've got a reason you might want to take the United States down, and you could blame it on somebody else. Well, just so if we were to hit, if this were to happen to us, how would the United States respond? Where'd it come from? Venezuela. Venezuela didn't attack us. They don't have a jacket. They can't even. They do good just to raise their own flag up a flagpole in Venezuela. How are they going to attack us or something like that? They're not. Who was it? Well, it's either the Russians, the Chinese, or North Korea, or maybe Iran. Which one? Which one? Ah, here's the interesting thing. Elliot Abrams, the special envoy from the U.S. to Iran and Venezuela, coincidentally, has been issuing warnings about missile deliveries from Iran to Venezuela. And he's been saying, hey, if you send the missiles down, if we know about it, we're going to interdict them, stop them. If we see them set up, we're going to take them out. We will attack. Wow. Wow. We know that Iran has been supporting military stuff going to Venezuela. We know that right now, the biggest flotilla ever, supposedly delivering fuel, is on its way from Iran to Venezuela. Just in time for, guess what? Yeah, the doomsday 10 days from now. I'm not saying there is a doomsday 10 days from now. Okay, my friends? No, Greg Allison said doomsday is the 21st of December. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the 21st of December is a date you should pay attention to, because it was in the visions that Stacy Zivicki had. But her visions did have a remedy to it: repentance. And her visions, if you repent, you can be saved. Well, that's the whole basis of Christianity. But not only saved in your soul, but the nation can be saved if the nation repents. If enough people repent and or the nation repents, supposedly, we can be saved. And that's why she's spreading that message. And I'm helping her with this. So there is a Christian message coinciding with her Christian vision on this date of the sign of the Son of Man in the skies of Jupiter and Saturn in conjunction. Now, maybe all that's just coincidental. Possibly, 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 but it's highly interesting. Some people say this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. That's the actual demarcation. Now, the astronomers have decided how they want to divide the various ages, and I think they've got, I didn't say astrologers, I said astronomers. They've got the age of Aquarius starting at like year 2600. Astrologers say it's already started. A lot of them do. But there's been quite a few people saying, no, it's actually this winter solstice. Now, why? I don't know. But it's interesting that we have a very interesting cosmological event in this great conjunction that's only occurring every, 400 to 500 years, supposedly. Well, I think the next one is not 500 years now, as Paul Begley had said. I got to bet and double check. The last one was in 1623, but the one that was a harbinger of the arrival of the Son of Man was said to not be as bright as one coming here. And the fact that it's coming on a winter solstice is particularly interesting. What does that mean? Doesn't mean anything. Well, if it means nothing else, you're going to see a great sight in the skies. I'll talk about how to see it before we end this, and I'll give you a link to it. I'll give you a link to how to go out and watch the solstice from the Exeter British Observatory. So it's going to be such a rare sight. It would be beautiful to see. It'll be beautiful to watch. Now, if you watch them coming together, they're going to be 1/10 of a second. Now you got 360 degrees around in a circle. You divide each degree into minutes. You divide it to 60 minutes, and each minute divides into 60 seconds. So that's tight. 1/10 of a second. That is really tight. To old guys, it's going to look like one star. The younger ones might be able to tell you got two planets here. But it's not just two planets. It's like two little miniature solar systems. Both Saturn and Jupiter have these moons. If you look at them through a decent telescope, you can see these moons revolving around these planets, each one of them. And it's a beautiful thing to see and behold. I've seen this. But so it's almost like a convergence of two solar systems. Of course, they're not really convergent. It's just they're lining up, line of sight from Earth, such that they are together. That's what's happening. There's just do 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 like that. Do 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 do. So that's what's happening there, and it's going to be quite an event to behold. I encourage everyone to go out and see it. In fact, was it just last night? I believe the International Space Station flew right through that convergence zone. As of right now, you can go out right now and look. Go look. Okay, here's what you do. Go outside about 30 minutes before sunset and look to the southwest. I mean, if you can find the North Star, do an about face and look to the south, and then kind of track your arm a little bit over to the southwest. If you're familiar with where you usually see the planets, they follow the plane of the ecliptic across the sky. There's a certain line that they usually appear in, and so you can look for them in that line. Now, they usually move in one direction, but occasionally go retrograde. The outer planets go retrograde. Why? It's because of the relative position of the Earth as we're going around the sun compared to them. What you don't see on the outer planets is the crescent moon looks, which you will see on Venus because Venus is inside our orbit. That's why. And sometimes the sun is only shining on one side of Venus, and it looks like the moon from Earth. And you can tell that in the telescope, and I've seen it. So there you are, my flat Earth friends. Puzzle that one out for me. All right, so look, I don't have to believe in a flat Earth to believe in God, okay? I've told you many times I believe in a greater creator. And is this a sign he sent us? Is it? Well, we're told in the Bible to look for signs in the stars and the heavens. We were told to look for the sign of the Son of Man. Is that this? Look, I'm not a preacher, but I find it highly interesting. But more so, it's this vision of Stacy and the technical veracity of it. She's a dairy hen. She works in a dairy, and she's got a very good homestead of her own and a family. But she's smart as tacks. She's a good, smart, down to earth woman. And I'll tell you what, she's a good one to have your back too. I trust her, and I know she's a lady of faith, and I trust her so much. I brought her into my Freedom Restoration Foundation when we started it up because I knew she was about that. And she's hard as tacks. She's hard as nails. She is not going to take from anybody. So I think she's a blessing to have in your company. I have lots of faith in that lady. Now, all that said, and we're all humans, we all have our failings. And Jesus said, trust no man, right? And that's true. All that said, back to it. We have right now in our world, our military's position in some strange position of tenseness. I think there may be intel out there, and they're talking about Iranian surrogates in Iraq. But is that what caused them to position all these aircraft carriers off the coastal regions of the United States? That's what they're talking about. But what are they really thinking about? We got the Nimitz that was just south of the Persian Gulf. Some say it's about to come back home. Are we going to send another to that spot? Or will we do something before it turns around and comes back? And then but most of our aircraft carriers that are deployed outside of being close to the continent of the United States, are actually close to China. Is there something happening with China? Is there something happening with both Iran and China? And why the threats about Iran sending missiles to Venezuela, which happens to be the vision of Stacy Zivicki. Oh my God. See, that's what gets me. I had seen this and thought this was the perfect way to do this years ago, and I've been talking about it. And I even had Ambassador Hank Cooper, when he came to my Power Grid Defense Conference in 2016, talk about the prospect saying we should put Aegis ashore missiles on our southern coast in case the missiles come at us from our soft underbelly. Has that been done? No. Has anybody else ever talked about it? I've not heard it. But I had him at my conference talking about it, and I've had him on my channel telling you how to get your power grid hardened. And that video only got 1,000 views. Come on, guys. I should have had more views than any other video I ever put out. That's not one of the most important things you could see. Okay, I'm going to bring this to a close here. But suffice it to say, the world is in serious military tension right now. Here we are coming into the Christmas season. Normally, things are relaxing. Troops are going home, but right now they're buzzing. Troops are going to Nellis. They're going to other bases that I've been hearing reports about. Maybe some are going home. I really hope some are. But if we're about to get hit, you don't want to be hit with your pants down. I always thought when I was in the Army, when I saw the guys going home, I thought, If I was going to do a surprise attack in the United States, this would be the time I would do it. Uh-oh. So here we are coming into that time. If somebody wants to light something on us, let's see, where are we as a country right now? We are locked down, shut down to a big degree, getting more so. Wintertime's coming. What's the worst time to bring down the power grid? Right before winter, just before winter. When's winter start? The 21st of December. This may be a dark winter to remember. If our power grid goes down, it will be dark indeed. And the Congressional Task Force, the EMP Congressional Task Force, which Dr. Peter Vincent Pratt was a key member, and I've had him on my channel. That task force determined that 9 out of 10 people would be dead within a year of the power grid going down. And there's 2 things they didn't factor in that I have brought to his attention and to your attention. One, they thought farmers were going to be a lot more resilient growing their own food. And my survey of farms says only 1 in 8 are really growing gardens of any size at all. And the food that most of them grow is, is GMO food that they got to buy their seeds every year from, and they can't replant it because they won't be able to grid down and get the pesticides, the herbicides, the seeds, the fuel to run their tractors, the software to run most of those big mega $1 million tractors. It's gone. Those farms are going to be fallow. That food is not going to be grown, and those farmers will be starving. The farmers that's got livestock will be better off, providing they don't have to have a lot of energy to maintain that system. I mean, as in petrol fuel, because it requires electricity to pump that stuff, my friends. The other reason that I would say that Dr. Peter Pry and his EMP Congressional Task Force were optimistic when they said 9 out of people would be gone within a year was the spent fuel rods at the nuclear power plants. I just talked about that in my video about the coronal mass ejections in the sun and things about the sun, which I'm wearing my solar shirt, my friends. and I'm trying to deflect myself symbolically from all that radiation. See, what do you need? You need shiny clothes on to reflect the light. Some people worry about 5G. They wear this stuff for that. some glasses, light colored clothes. But you need to understand the fire might come. So, with all that said, pardon me, the military tensions, the international tensions, the tensions with China. Oh, I'm going to do a report about China developing new amphibious and placing new amphibious landing vehicles as if they want to take Taiwan. Why would China attack us? Well, China wants to take Taiwan in the world, and we're standing in their way. So maybe China would do this and do it in such a way that we would blame it on Iran. See, this is what I'm thinking. Iran could do it, especially if they think we're about to hit them, since we're putting all this tension on them. But it might be that China would do it in such a way that it looked like Iran did it. Or maybe China would go to Iran and to do it, make the people there, oh, we got intel, the United States is about to hit you. They might use Iran as a proxy to pull it off. And we don't know if they hadn't sold stuff to Iran. We don't know what Iran really has. They may have the EMP super weapons that Russia and China has, or North Korea, because the Russian generals told us that indeed North Korea has that technology now, but they gave it to them. Yeah, Dr. William Graham revealed that to us. He was the head of the EMP task force, and he was also a prior NASA administrator, Dr. William Graham, and is considered the nation's foremost expert in EMPs. Okay, now all that said, so we do have reason to be concerned this 21st of December and thereafter. Again, Stacy Zivicki's vision was not that it was going to happen on the 21st of December. Her vision was that was the day by which you had to be prepared. So this could be the sign that we're entering into an age that you better be aware and you better prepare. But I tell you, don't be afraid, don't be scared, be prepared. But I'm bringing this to you so you keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel, because Lord, This year has been a nut burger. It's been coming at us from every direction. And it may be that we are in those prophetic times. I mean, you look at all the floods and the monsoons. Look what's been happening in China, the monsoons. And so much of Asia has had the locusts. Wow. And then there's the bug going around. Yeah, surely. The pestilence, the disease. The reactions of people, the internal strifes we're having in nations around the world, including the United States, the internal strife and division. I plan to hopefully do a video talking about these divisions next week. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe, bang that notification bell, and click all, because I'm going to bring you more stuff which will help you keep your eyes wide open and head on swivel, because it's a proposition channel to help you survive, thrive, and stay out of the hive. So I'll bring you these news items, and I bring you, things that you can, I've done videos on going to big box stores. I've done videos about eating wild edibles that are free, about you growing your own food. But I also offer to you other things that help you make it through. This is where we come up with these special deals like prepwithgreg.com. Really great deals, because it takes a while to grow that food. You need something to hold you over, and you've got to learn the skills of it. You may fail, you may lose gardens some years. You need to have enough that you'll have at least 2 times the seeds at every year. If you're going to just save enough seed to plant one year, and you plant that crop and it fails, yeah. So there's a lot of things to consider when prepping gardening, prepping homesteading. But you really need to get with it now, because we don't know what's coming. If the grid goes down, it's going to be bleak. So I'm also expecting sometime next week to do a video, nuclear bug out. I hope to do that next week. Nuclear bug out video. What to do if the plants go up in smoke. If the grid goes down, you expect the plants to go up in smoke, or in case that we get hit by ICBMs, what to do. What to do, how to deal with it. That's coming out. All right, my friends, I've said enough. I've went on long enough. Suffice it to say, the Julian calendar, Gregorian calendar mismatch is not 8 years. We're not talking about, this isn't the Mayan 2020, at least not for that reason. Now, somebody else I saw a report claim that the Mayans made a mistake in their calendar, which I find it hard to believe, unless they were the best calendar makers that ever was. But there's been a couple of people, for different reasons, claim that we are in the Mayan 2020. But it's not because of the Julian Gregorian calendar, which is claimed by a lot of big YouTube channels, including one that currently has 339,000 subscribers, and just did a video on this topic a little bit earlier in this, and I had, when I last looked, about 8,000 views on this. So interesting. So that is not the problem. The problem is, though, that we've had this vision. The vision is credible. It's a good military tactic. And gosh, suddenly we're warning Iran about missiles to Venezuela. Wow. I said it's going to happen. I said it's going to happen then, but wow. Holy smoke. Pray. Prepare yourself. Get right with your Lord, your maker, your creator. However you do that, in your own way of doing that, if you believe in that. Otherwise, prep, prepare, and do that too. Get your family ready. Be ready to take care of your family. We don't know what's going to come at us. There's all kind of possibilities. Like I said, this year's been a, you know what, burger. I really am hoping. Now look, I do hope. I hope this isn't going to happen. And I actually invest in these hopes that this isn't happening. I'm buying land in Arizona. I just bought a bus. Yeah, I did today. And I got an air conditioning unit being installed on the top of an enclosed trailer. That's definitely got to have power to run. So I am hoping for the best, but I am also preparing for the worst. I've got mine, and I got a worm farm, and I got a market garden. I can grow my food. I can supply my growing system. I got seeds and seeds and seeds and seeds, enough seeds to feed a community, to grow a huge ginormous garden. I've got tools. I got tools to run the entire community. Give me resiliency. I've got the makings of a blacksmith shop to make more tools, traps, and all kinds of other things. And I've done my videos on solid, you know what, and I have other things that go bang bang if I need them. Hopefully not. So what do I hope for? I hope we get through I hope we come through this stuff, that we've prayed, that we pushed for our freedoms, that we succeed, and we come out of it somehow not too badly scathed. Or if it all does hit the fan, that we're able to stand up afterwards, shake it off, and build a better world. But, you know, I also hope that we can be able to do great things. I've got another channel called Galactic Gregs, in which I talk about space things. That's very hopeful for the future. And you don't get there if society crumbles. The power grid goes down. I don't think we're coming back. Maybe I need to talk more about that in the future. Why I think that's it for the civilization. I do. I'll explain that in a future video. It's not so easy to come back as you might think. So maybe I should go more into detail about that. That's a good topic. Why we can't come back. Yeah, I do definitely think that's the case. Not at least not the way we have. And I'll have to explain that, because you go, what? You're crazy. No, I'll have to tell you that. All right, my friends. Hope for the best, pray for the best, and prep for the worst. I'm doing both. I'm all over both of them, and you would be better off if you were too. So let's hope that, you know, don't get depressed, don't get scared, be prepared. And just, you know, and if you are prepared, you have more confidence. Maybe that's why I can laugh, because I know I'm prepared. But I do worry about all my fellow people, and sometimes it hits me in the gut just thinking about what might come. I mean, I've had times that just overwhelm me. I mean, I've cried about it, but let's hope it don't come to that. All right, my friends, I think we can get over it. I think you kind of, I've done my talks about, you know, the universe and the solar cup. Our prayers, our meditations, and our thoughts lead us down various pathways in this multiverse that God has created for us, greater creator. If we didn't have that, he would be a tyrant. And I know, not at all, but that's not why we're here. We're not here to be ruled by a tyrant on this one single timeline where you got no choices. No, you have choices. So hope, pray, and prepare. All right, my friends, y'all have an awesome weekend. Go out and see this conjunction, the conjunction junction in the sky. Reminds you of that old thing on PBS, yeah, right? The conjunction junction. It will be a sight that you will never see again in this lifetime, and you're fortunate to be able to see it, and maybe it's a harbinger of hope. It may be a harbinger of hope. A lot of people say, oh, it's a harbinger of doom. This is the doomsday star. Well, it is occurring on the winter solstice of what we've been calling the dark winter. That's concerning. Stacy Zivicki's vision is concerning. But like I said, her vision also had an answer to it: repent. So there is hope. There is hope. All right, my friends. With all that, I'm going to say thank you for watching.